Hello and welcome back to Hold the Line Sports, where we do the work so you don't have to. We got a skeleton crew today as Nate is out working late, making that bread to support his family, which we can all respect. That leaves me and Will to
I
guide
don't.
you through the world of the. Oh, that's fine. Some of us do. Others are. We just see it as he's missing in action, which I get too. So that leaves me and Will to guide you through the world of the MLB today. Since it's just the two of us, I would imagine it will be a fairly efficient episode, which will give me some time to get back to Call of Duty before bedtime. Will has cooked up some topics for us, so I will send the reins over to him.
All right. Well, we started last week off with it, and we're going to do it again. Got another random stat for you. Did you
I'm ready.
know that the 2025 Atlanta Braves have been involved in 7 straight one-run games?
That explains why my Braves -1.5s aren't hitting.
7 straight. And at one point, I think up until the second game of the Pirates series, they were alternating wins and losses. So it was actually on a decent streak to where it was literally just alternating. But up until the third game of the Pirates series, where we lost, actually, I think it is still alternating.
No, we lost one lost. We
Oh
lost one
yeah, so
lost,
it's still for
and
some
then we
reason I
won
thought
last night in extras or in the
for
bottom of the night. Sorry.
yeah, for some reason I thought we won game 1 and lost 2 and 3, but no, we
Nope.
won game 2. So yeah, it's still
Lost one
alternating.
lost. Holy
Yep.
cow. Streak will hopefully be broken tonight. How much are we up by right now?
3. I guarantee you that the let's see that the win will break the streak, so it won't be alternating. But I cannot guarantee that we won't give up 2 in the top of the ninth.
Depends on who comes out to close the game,
I
I
mean,
think.
we kind of used Lee, Rysel, and Daysbull last night. Maybe it'll be Scott,
Uh,
Mr. Scott blew it.
maybe. I don't know
He's
how
been
many
goaded.
pitches he really has though. How many? I think he has like a couple. Like he's got like a couple holds. Like he's been
I
pretty
mean,
good.
he's
I
been
don't remember how many.
great.
Oh wait, Pierce Johnson is closing
Okay,
the game out. I don't mind that. I'm good.
yeah, I
I'm
like
good.
that.
I feel good. I feel good.
Yeah, we're
Not
gonna
worried
turn it
about it.
off. We're not even gonna look at
No, because I'll just get distracted. But I did like click over just to. Well, it's the top of the ninth
it.
now, so let's see who the heck's coming in.
We'll see.
I'm comfy. I feel good.
We can segue that into as you can see on the live chat that this is the title of today's show. The Braves cheated in 2023. I'm fully immersed in this conspiracy that is going on around all of Braves internet, Reddit pages, something, anything, because just about every player is down. Just about. I mean, we saw Arcia be an above average hitter that year. Hasn't come close since then. Ozzy Albies hit 280 with 35 jacks. He's had some injuries, but still has not come close to that. Michael Harris was great, and we thought we were in for superstardom. I mean, he's picked it up recently, but the power numbers aren't there. He's hitting the ball literally straight down every at bat. Matt Olson hit 54 home runs that year and hit 278. He can't hit the ball in the air now. Everything is on the ground, and I don't know what's going on. The only players that are somewhat close to that, what that day those were, and arguably maybe a tiny bit better, you could go either way, just based on approach, would be Marcell Ozuna and Austin Riley. Those are the only two, genuinely. Even Ronald before he got hurt last year was
He was
nowhere
raw.
near
Yeah,
what he was in 23.
yeah. He was off for sure. I think his had something to do with his leg and still like recovering. Because it was his back leg, and so it's a little harder to stay in the backside. And I think that's what he was rolling over a ton. Like he like led the league in ground outs to the shortstop for like the first month of the season. So I think like health had a little bit to do with it. Um, I was thinking like we dealt with like injuries and stuff last year. And it was like like, and I said it in the podcast, like one of the preseason ones about us. Like I thought we were just like the unluckiest team in all of baseball. And I'm starting to think that it might be the other way around, and we were just lucky before. And now we're like regressing to the mean of what we were actually supposed to be. Because you're talking about some of the guys, like the swing metrics, like it makes sense. Like they're hitting where they should hit. Like Olson, maybe not in terms of like average, but in terms of power production, like he's like kind of where he should be now because he doesn't hit enough fly balls. Like he doesn't. He's not. He's everything's like a rollover. It's a pull side. If he's pull side, it's on the ground. The strikeout rate is up. A lot of strikeout rates are up, like across the board. The other thing to keep in mind is we have a new hitting coach. I don't know if there is a different approach that they're attempting to adopt, um, but maybe that has something to do with it. They don't look good at the plate as a whole. I think even even though like Riley's counting stats are like okay, he's hitting fine. Like if you
He's
just
not
like
there.
look at the main three, like he's hitting fine, right? But you watch the at bats, like we watch the at bats every day. I remember what he looked like 2 years ago. I remember what he looked like the year before that, and it's like, that's not him. That's not the same guy. So I'm wondering if like that's like a page of it is taken from that. Like the approaches are changed. Not that last year's approaches were working, but because I don't think we hit well last year as a whole either. Comparatively, again, it's like, is it regression to the mean or is it down year because of injuries? Now we have a new hitting coach in with a new philosophy on hitting and we're adjusting to that. I don't know. To me, it looks a lot more like more of the same from the year before. Um, and I don't know. I don't know if that's just like what we're actually supposed to be or if we are just in a rut. One thing I remember, Seitzer, the old hitting coach, he said when these guys are like slumping, when they're down, they are super in their heads. Like they start pressing more than any other team he's ever been around. And it's a lot of, you say they're like mature, but it's really a lot of like young guys that, they used to be surrounded by some veteran leadership. Well, now those kids are like supposed to be the veteran leaders of the team. And if they're not performing, like who is going to be around to tell them, like who tells Austin Riley to not press? Who lets him know not to do that? He's really the leader of the team in my eyes. One of them. Who tells Ozzy Albies not to press? It should be Ozzy Albies, right? Because
Yeah.
he's like the longest tenured Brave that we got. Who tells Matt Olson not to press? I know he's one of the older players that we have. So I remember that's one of the things Seitzer said, and I think that's kind of holding true right now. I think there's a lot of pressing going on. Like it's because it's not coming easy. And, confidence is only bred by success. So you got to have a little success to have that confidence. And while they're not having that success, they're going to press until they get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm mainly just tired of we cannot just pull away from teams and our back end guys are not good enough to not do that. Because every game, as we've seen, we've we've played 7 straight one-run games because we can't hit, we can't pull away. And then we've also gone into extras many, many times this year. We're undefeated in
With a bad
extras.
bullpen.
We're undefeated in extras somehow, but yeah, I mean, like we just can't hit. And the main thing with like certain people, Matt Olson, his fly ball rate is significantly down. Like even compared to like last year was a down year for Matt Olson.
Yep.
His fly ball rate was still like in the I want to say in like the high 30%. He's down in like low 20s right now.
Yep. He's
So
like
like,
Eric Hosmer. Remember Eric Hosmer? Like
mm-hmm.
first baseman that had like a super high hard hit rate, but never hit the ball in the air. So he had like 8 to 12 home runs a year. He's just like that right now. With more, he's got more power than him, but like the approach is very similar.
Oh yeah, He's also not going to opposite field with as much as authority as he used to.
He's not
Like
comfortable with it.
he, I swear, probably like out of in 2023, out of the 54 home runs, I swear probably a good 15, 20 of them were to the opposite field, which
Yep.
is really good.
Yep.
Most people, it would probably be 5 to 8, but he was able to go to the opposite field easily, and that's one thing that you know a lot of Braves power hitters said like we're able to do in 23. Ronald has always been able to go the opposite field.
Yep.
Olsen was. Riley, when he's at his best, I think, is when he's driving to the right center gap.
Yep.
Ozuna is usually able to. He pulls maybe he's probably a little bit more pull happy than those three when they're at their best, but he's still able to go to the opposite field with authority. The only one that I say that is a power hitter and that cannot hit the ball to the opposite field is Ozzy Albies.
Yeah.
And
Not right or left-handed. He's
no,
not. It's just not his. He is like Bregman for the Red Sox is trying to do the same thing. He's trying to pull fly balls. It's like he can get a pitch that he can elevate pull side. If he can get that and backspin a ball to the pull side, that's advantageous to him. Mookie Betts is honestly the same way. Mookie Betts is trying to get a pitch that he can pull and elevate at the same time. He's just really good at getting that pitch. Ozzy's problem is he's good at getting that pitch right-handed and not good at getting that pitch left-handed because he swings himself out of at bats too quickly left-handed. He makes horrible swing decisions, and so he'll get like weak fly balls. Like he knows what he wants to do, but he doesn't give himself the opportunity within an at bat to actually get the pitch to be able to do that because one of the old adage is home runs are thrown, not hit. And so Ozzy's problem is he doesn't wait for the home run to be thrown. He's out of at bats 2 or 3 pitches in and didn't get that pitch to drive. He just got a pitch to make contact with so he can get out of the box.
yeah. My thing with Ozzy is I love the guy. I really want him to succeed. And back in I think it was like 2018, 2019, he led the league in hits. And we've seen home run is king. Obviously, they did everything, but he still had like 25 bombs last year. That year, and when he hit like 290 and led the
Yep.
league in hits. So I don't know. The more that this slump goes on, the more I agree that we cheated. The more I agree. There's just no way that you have gone from historically one of, if not the greatest offense of all time, to now you're missing one guy from it, albeit the MVP, but one guy from it, and you are really, really bad. Like I get that some people are the engine of the team, but you just don't drop that much when one player goes down.
No, I don't know. Cheating is like how? Like steal signs? I haven't heard any trash cans,
Balls were juiced
but
in
it's
Atlanta or something.
stealing signs. Like maybe they had a system for stealing signs. Seitzer might have been doing something. Maybe the scouting reports were better when Seitzer was the hitting coach. Maybe the hitting development program was better back then. I do know that I thought last year was the anomaly. Like I thought last year was like, okay, great. We had our down year after okay, what we did in 23 was going to be very hard to like exactly replicate. Like that was going to be very tough to do. So like some regression was like a little bit to be expected, but then it's like this year we should have. I mean, in the preseason talks that we're having, like we're bouncing back, right? Like everyone is like we're bouncing back. We're at least, if nothing else, we're gonna have the best lineup in the NL East, right? Like the rotation, there's some question marks. The bullpen, there's some question marks, but we know we're going to be able to hit. And I feel like that's the one thing that we have not done. And so it's like maybe this is the new normal. Maybe 2023 was the anomaly, and this is our new normal.
See, but even in 2022, our offense was still great.
Yeah, it was great. Heck, I feel like we've had a upper echelon offense since 2021.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've had a top 10 to 12 offense since 2021. We had better
Shoot,
pitching staff in 21. We had better
probably since
bullpens
like
in 2021.
19, we've had great
Yeah.
offenses. Is just we
Could at
have
least see the
changed up
makings of it.
personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've changed up personnel so much. But yeah, I don't know. Also, shout out Braves win. Perfect.
Nice.
Back to
New
500.
closer. New closer? Question mark?
1K, one inning pitch, 0 earned runs, not even a hit allowed.
Man, that's just what closers are supposed to do. How about that? He closed the game out without a hint of an upset happening.
Oh wait, a single was allowed. I misread that, but
Oh, okay. All right.
it's fine.
Single.
He
That's
didn't get the
fine. Better
second.
than 2 singles. Better than 2 singles. Better than 4 barrels given up to 4 batters.
Yeah. Yeah. That is definitely better than all the barrels that we've been seeing happening in the ninth inning recently.
I am a full proponent of closer by committee right now. A full proponent.
I'm a full proponent in having the trade deadline early in Atlanta and just going ahead and grabbing one.
Let's just do it now.
Might as well. Let's just go give up everyone for Mason Miller. I don't know.
Mason Miller. I don't. Well, yeah. If he might be an acquisition that makes sense because we don't win many ball games by more than 2 runs. So you're gonna need a good. If you're not blowing teams out, you need a good closer.
Mm-hmm.
We don't blow teams out. So every game we play is close. Our bullpen is not good enough for us to have a plus minus run differential of 3 or 4. Like it's just not good enough for that.
Man, if only we signed Jeff Hoffman, that would have been cool. Which, I mean, he failed his physical, but it was because we were turning into a starter, like Ronaldo was supposed to be. But he's an elite closer now for the Blue Jays, so
Happy for him.
could have had
Good call by Toronto.
it.
Great call by
Well,
them.
we can move on now to we're going to do our 3 most overrated players in all of baseball. I have been pretty vocal on my first 2,
Yeah,
but
I already know.
we can go one by one. Um, who is an overrated player to you, Cam?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in the order I wrote it down. I don't know if they're all overrated for different reasons, so I don't have one that's like more overrated than the other. Um, the first one is Luis Robert, extremely touted prospect. Like this dude was like supposed to be the guy to lead like the next wave of Chicago White Sox players. Maybe it's because of the situation that he was placed in. Like they just haven't been competitive. But I really think that is a lot of their own doing. I've heard some really bad things about that clubhouse and just how lazy they are as a collective unit. And I think he's like at the head of that because he's supposed to be the guy. So he's leading by example right now. Combination of injuries, underperformance. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I think he actually leads my list for most. I think he's it. He is my most overrated player.
My first one probably leads my list as well. I don't think he's the worst player on the list. I just think he's the most overrated. I think
Mine is the second worst player on this list.
this guy's probably the best player on the list, but was supposed to be absolute Jesus, and he hasn't been. It's Julio Rodriguez. That guy is the worst player from from opening day until about mid June. Is a replacement level player from about mid June to probably mid August, and then is on fire from August to the end of September. And then if they make the playoffs, he disappears.
How's he hitting so far this year?
He is currently hitting 228,
You had
about
it
a
ready.
724 OPS, 7 bombs, which is more than I expected still.
Yeah.
But
He hit one yesterday.
yeah, the
Okay.
guy's
Another
like
2 days.
it's just in everything year somehow he's going to start extremely slow, be
Yeah.
horrible for the last month and a half. He's going to be really good, and everyone's going to get so hyped up again, call him an MVP for the next year. They're saying, "Oh, it's going to be different," and then it's the same thing every time.
I am someone. I will be that guy.
I will never be that guy again.
He's so toolsy. Like he's just like the tools are. Well, you know what? You know who else has those tools is Luis
Luis
Robert.
Robert,
Luis Robert
yes,
also. Yeah, he also has those tools and does nothing with them. So, yeah, your point is proven.
because
For what he has done so far, I probably agree with you.
I've been burned. I was burned last year with Julio. I thought that man was going to go 40-40 and win MVP.
Yep.
And so I drafted him first round in my fantasy drafts. And the guy, I I I I was so mad at him that I genuinely wanted to cut him. I
He's
probably would have.
undroppable though.
Yeah, I know. I probably would have traded him for freaking like replacement level Orlando Arcia at that point. So
Oh, stop. It sounds personal. When you say that, it sounds personal.
it's personal with both of those players I just mentioned. Um, But yeah,
Definitely Arcia.
Julio Rodriguez is my most overrated player in baseball.
All right, so my number 2, I'm gonna go with Carlos Correa. This guy, like, first rounder, highly touted. He has had maybe, like, 4 healthy years, and only 2 of those was he more than, like, a replacement level player. Defensively, he's fine, like, obviously, the arm strength plays. I don't think he's, like, that rated as a shortstop defensively. I think he's fine. Um, but he's never had more than 26 home runs in a year. He's never played more than 153 games in a year. 26 home runs is the most that he's ever had, and that to me is like that's an anomaly year. Because this guy, he's normally 20 to 22 home runs. He's supposed to be like a 30-30 guy, power threat. He had a foot injury that kind of derailed everything. He hasn't been fast since he was 24 years old, I think. So now he's only relying on the ability to like hit and play slightly above average defense with good arm strength. And he's hitting, what's he hitting right now? I don't have his stats pulled up, but he's not hitting well either.
I want to say it's in the ones.
And with less power numbers than Julio Rodriguez. And to me, it's just like the overrated is like I see it and I'm like, I'm not that surprised, you know? Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's like a low 200s hitter and he's going to hit 20 home runs, but he was a first round pick and a highly, highly touted prospect, thinking that he was going to be like the next great shortstop. And he has never been close to that. So Carlos Correa for me.
Yeah, I like that. My next one, another guy I've been very vocal about, so I feel like there's no surprise here. Luis Ariz. He's a high average guy who's not hitting for a high average right now. He's hitting about 280. Has
That's
about.
fine.
Is it fine for a guy that doesn't hit for power?
How many home runs does he have?
3.
2? 3? Okay. So yeah, I undershot it. He's got 3 of them things.
Yeah, 3 is not. He's probably pacing for what, 12?
12. Yeah. 12.
If you hit
About a
280,
fourth of the way through. Yeah. 12.
if you hit 280 with 12 home runs and bottom 5% defense, you're not a good
You should
baseball
at least
player.
be stealing. You should be stealing bases, which
And
he doesn't do
he has
either.
2 of them,
Yeah,
which
he
is more
doesn't.
than I expected because that man
Yeah.
is a traffic cone when he gets on the base.
Yeah.
Because I am all for the get on base at a high clip or like hit for a high average clip and then steal second base. Steal, speed, score from first on a double from your big boppers behind you. I'm fine with that. When you are a high contact guy, you have to have another element. What other element does he have? He doesn't have power. He doesn't have speed. He doesn't have fielding.
And we'll probably have like we should probably do another segment that's like the most underrated player. We'll probably do that like next week. But just to like there's like a player comp that like because Arias is the hyped one because he has like a batting, the batting title and flirted with hitting 400 for half a season or whatever. And so like he's the name, right? There's another guy in the American League that hits just like him, and I think is a better baseball player in all facets of the game, and that is Steven Kwan. And no one ever talks about this dude.
Mm-hmm.
This dude just hits 300 all the time with slightly more power and actually steals bases and is like a borderline Gold Glover.
I don't think he's a borderline gold glover. He is a gold glover.
It's like, and we don't because he plays for the Guardians. No one ever talks about him. It's the same, like Jose Ramirez has dealt with that like his entire life. Also, one of
Mm-hmm.
the most underrated players in the history of baseball. Because that dude is just a doubles machine. Also hits 300 close to every year and is a 30-30 guy. Doesn't look the part, but he is built. Jose Ramirez is built just like Arias.
And he steals
Hits
bases.
better, hits for more power, and steals bases. They're like the same person, like same build. One is just 1,000 times better at baseball. So there's 2 players that super unsung that could have similar they have similarities to Arias, are never talked about, but I think are 3 or 4 times better than Arias.
I mean, yeah, if we're doing underrated, we can probably just name every good player to ever play for the Guardians. So,
Yeah.
Guardians / Indians, either one you prefer. Yeah. I mean, you guys know my frustration with Mr. Luis Ariz. But
Yeah. You've
that,
let it be known. We know
yeah.
you don't like him.
Who was
See,
your last guy?
I didn't bring up the guy that I hate the most, and I'm proud of myself because I just kept it to the side. I didn't
Because
I'm
he's
not even
pitching
gonna
too
say
good
his
this year to
I'm
call him
not even gonna say
overrated.
his name. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna bring it up.
He's
He
pitching
did
too
not even
good
gonna
for you to
say it.
bring him up.
Well, see, I looked at because when you told me we were gonna do this segment, I looked at like the MLB top 100, and he was at number 50 on the list, and I was like,
That's
shoot,
fair.
that's fair. He's not overrated. I was like, he might actually be like he should be a little higher than or lower than 50. Like, he might be in like the 30s or 40s. That dude's slinging the thing. I can't even lie. My last one though, the like people have like cooled off on him, but he's still got like solid contract and like he's still an everyday starter. And so like to me that makes him overrated at this point. I don't think he should be an everyday starter anymore, and that's Trevor's Story. Um he puts up numbers at Coors, which tell me who didn't. Like played at Coors. If you played at Coors Field, you put up
Every
numbers. It's
Rockies hitter
just
right now.
and then more often than not, when they leave Coors and they go to another team, they become very pedestrian. The only exception to that rule is probably like Matt Holliday or Arenado. If you
Hey,
want
I
to
was
go
gonna say
Arenado, you could.
Arenado wasn't. He's probably pedestrian, closer to pedestrian now. But the first like 2-3 years in St. Louis, he was still elite.
Yeah, yeah.
It definitely
He
went
was
down though.
still
It went down.
agreed. And I expected that to a point. So when he did like regress a little bit, but was still hitting like 260 and leading his team in RBIs, I was like, he's still him. It's just the Coors factor's not in play. Trevor Story left Coors and became abysmal, like low 200 hitter. I don't think he's hit more than 10 home runs in the last 3 years. Injuries have obviously not helped. He's been very unhealthy, but he's healthy now and is still the same guy that he was when he left Coors. So he's pretty high on this just because people don't speak highly of him like they used to. He's like lower on my list because I don't think they rate him as highly as they did previously, but I still think it's like a tremendous disappointment how far he fell off after he left Coors Field.
Yeah. Next guy, I was kind of like probably back in like 2021, 2022. I was more on his case. And then he actually, proved me wrong a little bit in 23 and 24 and had solid years. Maybe not worth the money that he's getting paid, but still solid. But now this year, he just hasn't really been good. That guy is Jose Barrios. Shout out Pierce, Blue Jays fan. Your highest paid pitcher sucks. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I've been on the train that I just haven't thought he's that good for a while. Underlying metrics are all terrible. You know how on the baseball and savant pages, if it's red, it's good. If it's blue, it's bad. There is
Yeah,
not a hint of red on that thing.
it's all blue.
Um,
Yeah.
and then you also got he's 1-1 with a 4.15 ERA right now. ERA is not the end all be all, but still, I mean, he gave up 5 today, so uh,
Only 4 were earned though.
he gave up 5. That'd be your Logan Webb stat right there. He
Yeah.
only 4 were earned, but he gave up 5.
And I've liked him for a while, but Barrios he used to have a ton of velo. Like he used to be like 96, 97, like with some and the slider always played. Like he had some nasty stuff. And I just think his stuff has regressed while he continues to get paid and is viewed as like an ace of a staff. Now, I think if he was on another pitching staff, he's probably the 3 or 4 guy in the rotation, and you don't notice him as much. But because he is a Blue Jay, there's only so many like really good pitchers on that team, and they all underperform to an extent outside of probably Bassett. Bassett's probably been their best guy. Even
Yeah,
Gossman, I think, has been down a little bit.
he was
Um,
down. Both of them were kind of down last year. But I mean, I think too as well. Like even if he wasn't, even if he was still on the Blue Jays, he got a decent sized contract as well.
yeah,
Like it was like a 7-year, like $130 million contract, and he like last 2 years he's been worth that. Like he, mid to high threes in the ERA, and but now he's up into the fours and 22s. Up he was up at a 5 ERA. So I
the one thing I'll give him is he grinds out starts. Like, he's still like a 6 inning guy, like almost minimum. I don't think he went 6 today. The pitch count got very high. Like, he was very hittable today. But he generally grinds out starts and doesn't, even if he doesn't have it that day, he gives you 5 or 6, which some pitchers don't even get to 5. And so
I
he
think
still has that, which I appreciate, but the stuff is not the same as it used to be.
yeah, I think mainly it's because the stuff is not what it's used to be. That's why he's getting hit because he throws so many strikes. He lives
Yeah,
in the zone,
he's around the plate.
but he used to move a lot. Now it
Yeah.
doesn't. So, and it used
Yep.
to move very fast. Now it
How
doesn't.
old is he now? Was he like 31, 32, something like that?
30. So, I mean,
30?
he's still like pretty young for a pitcher, but
He should still be throwing hard. Like,
yeah,
he
he
should
should
still
still
be
be,
doing that.
but velo's down, and I've been on the train for a while that I think he's a little overrated. Just because of I mean, it's kind of like when Bryce Elder was an all star. The guy had good counting stats, but the every single underlying metric was absolutely terrible, and that's why the year he was an all star, he was good in the first half and kind of got shit on in the second half, and then threw a high changeup to Bryce Harper, and it got hit about 500 feet in the playoffs.
Barrios is better than Bryce Elder.
A lot of people are better than Bryce Elder,
I
but yeah,
just use them together. Like, that's like such a. Hopefully, he didn't hear you say that.
no. I think
He'd be like, Bryce Elder.
there's levels to this. There's Barrios, and then there's Bryce Elder. He's not even on the screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, it's just Barrios is a little down here, and then like a good pitcher's like up here, but then Bryce
yeah.
Elder's like
Is like
he's in the basement.
he's downstairs.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, I live in the basement level, so he's down underground. So yeah, he's somehow a pitcher on a team that is now back to 500 today. The Braves are 21-21.
21-21.
Yeah,
Officially made
21.
it happen by May 13th.
Hey, that's probably earlier than the years we made it to the World Series.
It,
So
it was. It is. It was like June. It might have been July. Honestly, it
I'm
was
pretty
right
sure
around like the trade deadline.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was August.
Was it August?
I'm fairly certain.
Jesus.
It was earlier the year after because I remember the year after we also kind of like were pretty
I.
slow out the gates, and I think we
Yep.
got there around like June or July. But
That might be
in
what I'm
the
thinking of.
World Series year, I'm pretty sure it was August.
We pulled some magic that World Series year. That came out of nowhere.
And we
I
got
stopped
lucky.
watching us. I
Yeah.
said I remember I reached a point like in the middle of the year where I was like, I'll watch us again when we get to 500, and I started watching the Braves again in August.
I kept watching mainly once the moves happened, I remember I was like, okay, we got Mr. Jock. I like Jorge, and then
Yeah,
we got Duval back. I like Duval at the time because he was raking with the Marlins.
yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a struggle that year for sure. And then the year after, and then last year, and then this year
They've all
again.
been. Yeah, it's
23 though. We did something and we cheated and it was great the entire year.
that was fun for a while,
Pretty
and
sure
then
also 23 is the only year we have won on opening day in a while. So take that what you will.
that goes to the cheating thing again. It's like you might be onto something. We actually won on opening day. Something's up. Something is amiss.
Rare.
Yeah.
Can move on to the segment we introduced last week, fair or foul. I got 4 more. So the first one, the Tigers are a top 3 team in Major League Baseball.
According to records, they are up there. Listen, dude, these fellows are good. Like I think this is a good team. The pitching staff is solid still. Like, pitching staff is good. They play so well at home. They play incredible baseball at home. I think they're like 15-5 at home. The run differential is actually really good. It might be the best run differential in all of baseball. That's generally a sign that, like, you're scoring a lot, you're beating teams by a lot. Maybe strength of schedule has a little bit to do with that. You know, you're playing in the AL Central, and that does help some things. But it's not like the AL Central is bad either, right? Like, there's still 2 other teams that are pretty good, and the Twins have been on fire for the last, like, 10 games or something like that. I think they're, like, 8-2 in their last 10, and so are the Royals. Um, I young squad, they figured out what to do with Baez. I'm thinking it's real. I think they're just that's just a really good baseball team. Top 3? Top 5. Top 5.
That's my entire reasoning.
Top 5.
Top 3, I don't think so. Top 5, I will buy into that
Plus
100%.
84 run differential, the best in baseball.
I mean, they're still doing this by July. I'm bought in. Top 3 team in baseball. I just want to see
4th
the
in the league
bats
in
do it a
runs
little bit
scored.
longer. That's the one thing I worry about. I want to see the bats do it a tiny bit longer.
How about this? They're 4th in the league in runs scored, and they play in
Comerica.
I mean, dude, that's legitimate. That's legitimate. Now, granted, like, just because you don't hit home runs there doesn't mean you can't score runs. Like, I get that.
The outfield's
But
big.
hitting home runs is the most popular way, bar none, to score runs.
Yeah. And they did move in
Wow.
right center, so it's not as big as it was, but
Let me see these splits. I'm curious. I kind of want to see these splits and see.
they're
So like at home,
they're
they're
probably
15
they're
and
fun to
5.
watch.
They've hit 21 home runs at home. Kerry Carpenter moved right center. He's got 5 of them at home. Torkelson's got 4. So they have 21 home runs on the road or at home, 31 at home or on the road. Sorry. So 31 on the road, 21 at home. So the
How many
power numbers
games
are
did they
still
play
down at home, so
at each one?
20 at home, 20 at home because they're 15 and 5 and 22 on the road. So it's a little split towards the road games, sure, but it's not like egregious. Like there's still some decent power numbers at home.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, when you play in a park, that's bound to happen. That park, so it's bound to happen.
I man, I don't know, dude. I think they've got I like all of their hitters too. Like their starting lineup, I like. Like you know how I feel about Torkelson. I think there's a small swing adjustment he made. I think he's for real. Like his swing looks like it did in college now. And I think that's what he needed to go back to. Kerry Carpenter crushes righties. They've got Veerling crushes lefties. Like they've got platoon guys that hit both both righties and lefties. I'm gonna stick with top 5, but I will reserve judgment because they're pretty freaking good.
Yeah, yeah. The next one is on the exact opposite of the scale. The Orioles will lose 90 games.
Have they fired the coach yet?
I don't think so.
I think he's lost the clubhouse. Just a lot of young guys, and there's no one steering right now, and they got to get a fresh face in there to kind of steer the young guys in the right direction. You got to get someone that can kind of like mold them into what he needs them to be. They're not doing anything well. Their bullpen's egregiously bad. Their starting rotation is awful. They
Worse
don't
than
hit.
baseball.
Yeah, starting rotation is probably the worst part. They don't hit particularly well. They have the 3rd worst run differential. 90's a lot. They are on pace to do like just about exactly that though, right?
I
15
think
and
so, yeah.
24. It's probably closer to like 98, 99 with how that pacing looks. They're awful on the road. They don't travel well. Their schedule is also going to be tougher because they play, the Yankees, Red Sox. I think the Blue Jays are good.
The Rays are good
The
somehow.
Rays are solid. I think 90. If they keep their coach, it's fair. They're going to lose 90. If they make a change and they get the right guy, the talent is there to win more baseball games. I'm very much worried about the rotation, though. The rotation is not working. So
Yeah.
they'd probably they'd have to be buyers, and grab another. But if you're not competing, why would you waste prospects? But if there was a team that would do that, it would be this one because they have an embarrassment of riches in the prospect pool in terms of they've got guys blocked from starting spots that I think would start on other teams. They got a log jam in the outfield. I mean, especially from position players, they've got a lot on the prospect pool and a lot of young talent they could still buy potentially, and then maybe make a run towards, you know, 500 or slightly above, and then you're probably still not making the playoffs. I don't see why they would do that. But if there was a team that could, it would be them. Um, they need to make a managerial change within the next 20 days. Otherwise, they're losing 95 games.
I'm gonna go foul as well, just because I think the offense is a little too talented. Um,
They should hit eventually.
they like they should, but we've been saying the same thing with the Atlanta Braves for about a year and a half, so we'll see with that one. But I do think they will start to hit because I think Adley will get it going. I think Gunner will get it going, and they're going to hit eventually. Now, will they pitch eventually? No, unless they make a move. I
And
think
give
that
up
is
a
going to be a
ton of
problem.
runs.
That's going to be a problem all year, no matter what. They kind of remind me, you remember when, I think it was like 2018, 2019, the Cubs still had the big three and their offense was great, but they just could not pitch, and that's why they didn't win more World Series. That's
Yep.
exactly what this team feels like. They're going to have young studs, but they're not going to be able to pitch.
So I'm looking and, do you see like their best pitcher right now is 35-year-old Tamayuki Sagano. That's their best pitcher. Is the guy they picked up, for like a 1 or 2 year deal, is 35 years old and was supposed to be their fifth starter. Creamer's looked bad. Cave Povich is not ready. He's still not ready. Charlie Morton's done. Like he should just be
Cooked.
finished. They got to get Eflin back in
They need
healthy and
Grayson back.
long-term health. They need Rodriguez back. So like they brought in Kyle Gibson. He started his season like last week and has been just as bad as I thought he was going to be. Like he's just not that great of a pitcher. His stuff is not sustainable. Just the way he throws, especially in the division he throws in. Like that dude was never going to be good the way that he throws. Like
Didn't
this bullpen
is
is
Kyle Bradish hurt?
yes. TJ.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was like a
Yeah.
major one.
Yep. I think him and it's going to be like the middle of the year when he comes back, I want to say.
I mean, I think they're cooked this year regardless, but I'm looking in the future. Like if you have Grayson, um, Bradish, I think is solid.
Yeah.
And then
Eflin.
you have Eflin. That's three solid starters. I don't think the only one that can become a one, I don't think he does, is Grayson. I think he's a two. That's
I
three
agree.
solid starters, but you still got to get more, especially with how we thought the bullpen was going to be a strength coming in this year with Bautista and Cano because they were really good. Bautista has
Bautista's
not been
been
himself.
Bautista's been good. But it's like he's good one day and then he's got nothing the next day. If he goes back to back days, it's a struggle.
Hmm.
They're like seventh, eighth inning. Like, well, they got Gregory Soto. That was a mistake. I don't know why you would have him. Sir Anthony hasn't been good. Sionel's been bad. Like, those are like their main guys that throw like 14, 15 games for them so far. I think Keegan's been pretty decent. But it's like in a lesser role. He's more of like if he's got a bunch of,
He used
his
to
is
be a
like lower
starter
leverage.
too. Yeah, he's like
Yeah, it's like
he's
so
the
it's lower leverage, like fifth, sixth inning stuff. He'll give him like 2 innings at a time. He can do that. Um, Cano's been okay. If it seems like if they get to 8-9 and they have a lead, Cano and Batista have been okay.
depends on what day you're getting
There's
them on.
only just depends on what day you're getting them on. I mean, Batista's got 7 saves, so it's not horrible. I don't know how many blown save. They don't have the blown save here on the ESPN one, but I know it's like on back to back. Like if he throws like day 2 on a back to back, it's not pretty. But that could just be like he's missed time. He missed like
Yeah.
a year, right? So like he might get back to that, and he should be fine eventually. But 6th, 7th, 8th inning, it's iffy. It's iffy on if they can hold a lead. But most of the time, they don't have a chance of having a lead because the starters do such a bad job.
Could move on to the next one. This one, I had it written down, and then his OBP kind of dipped a little bit in the past like few days. I already had it written down before that because I knew I wanted to do it. Aaron Judge will have a 500 on base percentage. It's at 500 exactly right now. It was at like 520 when I wrote it down, but he's cooled off ish.
It's cooled off. He's hitting 414.
Yeah, the on base has gone down, but that's it.
It's gonna be very hard to do that. So what I'm kind of thinking is going to happen, and so like he might end up being competitive with it. Is the average is going to go down, right? Like we can probably both agree the
Yeah.
average is going to go down. You're not going to hit 4. If he hits 414, it's the best offensive season in like the history of baseball because he's pacing towards 50 home runs. So 50 home runs and a 414 is just. Has anyone ever had a better season than that? Probably
No.
not, right? So we'll, assume there's some regression to be had there. Let's say 350. Generally, what happens is when you start losing average a little bit, it means people are pitching around you more and you draw more walks. So he'll probably still get on base at a decent clip, albeit with a lower batting average. So the problem, the question will be, do they work like this? Is like an inverse ratio where the OBP still remains strong because he's drawing so many walks? Because that is the only way the average or the walks go up is if the average goes down. It means they're pitching around him. They're pitching around him. He's making maybe some questionable swing decisions because he gets a little bit antsy, but because he's being pitched around so much, he draws 2 or 3 walks per game. Goes 0 for 2, 2 walks, that's 500, right? So if we have like an inverse ratio with a 350 batting average, but then you've got 90 walks, 100 walks, you probably flirt with it. I will say foul, but it will be more competitive than we think.
Yeah, I'm gonna say foul, but I think he's above 470.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think he's going to flirt with it for a while. I just think it's going to, instead of it being 414 with 26 walks right here, we're looking at 350 with 110 walks, 120 walks.
Something like that.
Because they're not going to keep pitching to him, especially you get later in the season and these games start to, not that they don't mean a lot, but you get to July, August, September, and these games mean a ton, especially if you're in a race. You're facing the Red Sox, the Tigers, the teams that are competitive in this at the end. They're not going to let him beat them. That Aaron Judge doesn't get to beat us. Whoever hits after Aaron Judge is going to have to beat us. So we're going to put him on.
Or you
That's
need
how
the
I.
people in
That's
front
how
of him
I
to
see it
get
going.
on to where you can't walk them.
Exactly, and that's one of the. I am so impressed with him this year because he has less protection than he has had in a while. Like
Oh yeah,
there's no Stanton, there's no Soto. Like he has no. His protection is what, Paul Bellinger?
I think they've been
Like
hitting in
who's
front
his?
of him too.
So like what is it? Volpe? Like who's his protection? There's no one there on this list that
I
is
think Paul
protecting
or
Aaron Judge.
I think Paul is sometimes behind him. I think he has hit lead off a little bit, but I think Paul's mainly behind him. I think Bailey's been ahead of him most of the time, and
Yeah,
then it'll occasionally be like Austin Wells, but yeah,
he's not. No, who's he protecting? I
I
love
think
Austin
Wells is
Wells.
solid. Wells is solid.
I said it. I love Austin Wells. I think he's a good ball player. But is he? Do you say I better? You know, I better pitch him carefully. I mean, Judge is on deck, but I got to pitch Austin Wells careful here. You know, like no one's saying that. They're like, I've got to get this guy, and then
Yeah.
hopefully I don't get to Judge.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I get him, I can walk Judge and then face the next guy. You know,
This next
I will
one,
say no, but
I'm
it's
gonna yeah,
close.
I'm gonna say no as well. This next one, I will. I was looking at it. I was like, this is a genuine thing that I was kind of shocked by it. Um, is that Pete Alonso? Does he win the triple crown this year? He's leading in home runs and RBIs in the
I've
NL
got
this
to
year.
hold on now. Okay, this snuck by me a little bit. Pete Alonso.
Or he's not leading in home runs, I guess, not anymore. But we know he's a home run hitter. He's hit 50 in a season before, but he's leading the league in RBIs, and he's hitting 310. I'm gonna go foul.
He does
I
have
don't. I don't think it
he does have
happens.
36 RBIs. The fact that he is hitting 310 is that's the Juan Soto factor. That's what Judge is missing and still hitting 400. That's exactly why Pete's doing this. Because there's two to tango here. Like there's like another guy was I don't want to face him either. And so you gotta face and then you got Lindor hitting in front of him. So it's like that's
Hmm.
it's a dangerous line. There's a reason why they're first in the NL East and
Yeah.
look like one of the best teams in baseball, right? Like that's clearly a dangerous lineup. Um 310 is whoa. Like
Yeah.
um there is I am gonna this is what I will say, this is a career year for Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is probably going to end up with 35 to 40 home runs, 120 RBIs, and he will hit 270. That means he will not win the Triple Crown. So I will say foul. I will firmly say foul. It's also I'm looking at the guys that are look at the guys that are ahead of him. It's like, okay, Manny Machado's hitting 331. There's probably some regression there, right? He's not going to hit 331. Tatis, though, is hitting 316. I can see him hitting 290, 300.
Oh yeah.
That dude can swing it. Teoscar's hitting 315. That's not happening.
No.
Will Smith is hitting 314. That's probably not happening. Brendan Donovan hitting 312. I love Brendan Donovan. He's not going to hit 312. And that leaves Pete is at 310. So, I mean, he's within 20 points of the lead. There's only one guy out of this list that is currently ahead of him that I see maintaining what they are currently at average wise. That doesn't mean someone can't come up and surpass them, have a hot end of the year and, maybe they're hitting 290 right now and they end up hitting 320. I still don't see Alonso hitting any better than 270 though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go foul as well. I don't think a career 250 hitter is just gonna randomly come out and hit 320 probably. So that's probably it's gonna be close to what it's gonna take. I think this year.
Yeah.
I think a lot more people are hitting for average. But uh,
Yeah.
he's having a career year. He's going to get his bag 1,000%. But I'm gonna go foul as well. I don't think
15
he
doubles
is.
too. Leading the league in doubles as
Oh
well.
yeah, he's the Mets are a team, and I hate it. But the Mets are going to be a good team, and Pete's going to be a big part of it.
1,000 OPS. He's already got 2 WAR.
Yeah.
This is a year. I am sold. This is the Juan Soto factor. This is what makes Juan Soto like somewhat worth his money that he makes, because whoever he is in the lineup with has the best protection in all of baseball.
Oh yeah.
Because he works counts better than anyone else. Like he dominates the strike zone, dominates the plate. So every at bat that he has is a battle for the pitcher, and then Pete comes up after him, and you just had one battle against Juan Soto, and now you've got to face this guy. That is so advantageous for Pete Alonso. Like, it's not even funny. No, he will not win the Triple Crown, but I'm highly impressed. This is a great year in the making right now. I mean, this is a career year at the best possible time for old Pete.
Oh
Like,
yeah, he's
well
getting a
done,
bag.
because he's that boy's going to collect.
Yeah, he's going to collect a lot of money,
Yep.
and hopefully not by the Mets. Um,
It'll be the Mets.
Probably yeah.
Hitting like this, they see what him and Soto can do together, and they can get 8 years of that. Because I think Alonso's what, 30?
He's around that, yeah.
So we'll say 8 years, maybe 10 would be. I feel like that would be generous. So like 6, 7 to 8 years of that. They probably see 2 or 3 World Series, if that's it. Plus Lindor is still in his prime.
Yeah, but it's the Mets. They won't win. Um,
Sure, they are cursed.
yeah. We can round it out with our weekly home run pick. Going back to last week, Cam won again.
Yep.
We'll just gloss by that real quick. I mean, no, I'm kidding.
Well, I am the hitting guy. I'm the hitting guy in the group.
Don't worry. I brought
This is what
analytics
I
into
do.
it this week, so you're kind of cooked.
It's hard to beat the eye test. I know who's swinging it.
Me and Nate both went with a pair of Dodgers, Freddie and Mookie. They both had 1 home run, and Cam had Eugenio, who had 2 home runs. Side note, Freddie Freeman hit over 500 last week, so I think he was doing fine, even though he didn't hit that many home runs.
True.
The guy who led,
we can agree on that.
yeah, the guy who led all of MLB was Wilyer Abreu from the Red Sox. Bet we saw that
I
coming.
did not pick him. I did not pick him.
Maybe that's what we need to do. We've all chosen like stars. We just need to start choosing the random guys.
Not this week.
No, we did not
Maybe
do it
next
this
week.
week. I can go ahead and guarantee you that. I will go ahead with Nate's and mine's. Nate is going to pick a guy who he's been actually swinging it for pop recently this year. I didn't expect this much pop out of him. Corbin Carroll. I mean, he's electric. He could. I mean, he hit 2 home runs off of Verlander the other day, and a 2-1 ball game is their all offense. So, yeah, Corbin Carroll, and my guy.
What did Corbin Carroll do in the offseason? What did he have?
A swing change.
A swing change. Thank you.
My guy, we're gonna go to Cam's. He's probably a top 5 favorite Cam player. And we brought analytics into it. So the guys who led last year, the last few weeks, they were like slightly below average hitters last week, the week prior, and only hit 1 home run. This guy is a star and was slightly below average with he had like a 75 WRC plus last week, but also hit a home run. And he was kind of getting a little unlucky with some balls in play. I looked at his like batting average, balls in play, stuff like that. And he's got some great matchups. I believe he's playing the White Sox right now. Goes and plays the Marlins over the weekend. So, and hopefully the ball is flying out in the Windy City. We're going to go with Kyle Tucker this week.
I love Kyle Tucker. He's one of my favorite players. You were right. He is like a top 5. He was my first round pick this year.
Oh, yeah.
And he is doing that justice to the highest extent. He has been my best player. No, I like that pick. You might win this week. I am going to go with a volume play here. So there is, I will say, close to 0 analytics in this selection, but I haven't used analytics at any point in time when I pick these, and it's served me well so far. Strictly volume play. This team plays every single day from now until next week. They are not off on Thursday. They are not off on Monday. So volume, we have more at bats. Every game for them is at home, except for 1 game versus the Pirates on Monday, but you can hit home runs in that stadium too. Their home games take place in Great America Ballpark. So this is a Cincinnati Reds player. If anyone is unfamiliar, that is the most home run friendly ballpark in all of baseball, except
Great
for
American
these minor
Small
league
Park,
stadiums
as we like to call it.
Yeah. The only thing that beats them now is these minor league stadiums that other teams are playing in. So outside of that, this is the best place to hit in terms of power. We're going to go with Ellie De La Cruz this week.
Okay. That's all I had today, Cam.
Before we go, tell the people what they need to do if they haven't done it yet.
Please subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. I know we've been putting out some plays. Cam might even start throwing out some COD. You never know. He's been playing a lot recently. We'll see.
Major Four's coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Major Four's coming up. Big tournament.
We got some MLB plays coming every day. But then also just chiming in on some news. Like, I mean, we saw Pete Rose is off the ban list now this week, starting today. And we won't go into the other guys who I disagree with Shoeless Joe Jackson coming off the ban list. He still needs to be on. But
I agree with you.
Yeah, Pete Rose coming off. I'm fine with that. But Shoeless Joe, get back on there. Get back on there. But yeah, subscribe for all the baseball news or plays or anything that you guys want, or any like rankings. Let us know what you guys want, because we want to do what you guys want to do, and we want to have fun while we're doing it. So just let us know.
100%. That is all for today. We will be back. Hopefully, we'll get Nate back next week. It seems like today was just kind of like a weird day where he had to work late. So hopefully, we get him back. We will plan on the same time, same place. So Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.